Hey all, and this is the Pax Korellia event. This is a Fire Commander event and Chaotic Killer. So I have made up 4 different teams. One for the Ultimates, one for the Bosses and the Crusade. Then a third one that uses Metaverse Masters. Then finally, an experimental team that I probably won't use, but it's an idea to try if you are struggling for ideas. Just replace the cards with cards you have. So this is a pretty easy team to use, good for the solo and guild bosses, plus also pretty decent for the Crusade as well. So Arcane Masters is the first card. This has a pretty good increase to Fire Commander damage, 175%. It's a 1-turn cooldown card as well, so a good card to use every turn. Avenging Furies. This grants the next Fire Commander to use their battle skill a 200% damage buff. I use that to boost up Heretic Hunters. You can also use this twice to boost up itself. Then Heretic Hunters, as I mentioned, a pretty decent hitting card actually. Increases self-damage by 275%. The event ultimate form is also a hitting card. This is nowhere near as strong though, unfortunately. Then Brothers in Arms, again, has a decent increase to Fire Commander damage, 120%. Then finally, Immolating Fae. This is the event ultimate form Chaotic Killer card. Not a bad card. I like the cleanse and the removal of an enemy debuff on this card, but not much of an increase to Fire Commander damage, only 50%. So I did make a quick slight adjustment to the relics, just putting the 2 Chaotic Killer relics on the team. I may use this for the Ultimates earlier levels, that's why I've done that. Anyway, this is what the relics look like. Ray Staff is the first relic. Pretty decent relic, has that percentage increase to attack. Also a few other cool skills. Doesn't break any shields, but not really needed. And then for this relic, it's a Chaotic relic. Breaks a lot of shields, 9 in total on its own, so that's enough. And then we have just one of my better relics. Another decent relic here. Then finally, the other Chaotic relic just for those early ultimates. Makes it a little bit easier anyway. So the second team I made up is just a variant of the first team, but to break as many shields as possible. Since it's the same team, I'll just talk through the relics. It's to break as many shields as possible, basically. The first 3 relics, though, are not really that good. This one only breaks the 3. Then again, 3. And another one that breaks the 3. The end 2 relics are pretty decent. You can see this one breaks a lot, as I already mentioned. Then my other Chaotic Fire Commander relic. That should break 25 in total. So should be enough for level 19 of the Ultimates. I may try 20 as well to see how I get on with this. And then for the third team, it's just a variant of the first team, but I've added Metaverse Masters to the team. It probably won't increase the damage by much. Metaverse Masters only gives a 150% damage buff to one card. You can see here, next hero to use their battle skill a 150% damage buff. So yeah, I probably won't use this team since Metaverse won't make much difference to the damage. And then finally, something to try if you're struggling for ideas, using Area to boost up Avenging Furies. The team starts with Metaverse Masters, gives the next hero to use their battle skill a 150% damage buff, used to boost up Avenging Furies. This can also boost up itself. Then High Performance Unit Area at the end to get supercharged up to boost up Immortal Killer attack. Then Immolating Fae, that's needed on the team because of the killer skill. Then Arcane Masters because it has the highest damage increase out of my Fire Commanders. So yeah, that probably won't do too much damage, but it's something to try. You may need a conversion card as well, though. Right, and that's the teams I've made up for the event. So most teams I've seen are either a variant of this team here or a variant of my very first team. So that's what I recommend trying. You can replace Heretic Hunters with the event ultimate form here and see how much damage it does. You can also replace Immolating Fae if you do have the event ultimate form. Just be a bit careful of Countdown as it can insta-kill you. So there we go, let's get on with the actual event. Alright, so here we go, some Crusade gameplay. I'm up to stage 18 so far. I will take an event ultimate form this time around. It shows you what the event ultimate form can do in the Crusade. Alright, here we go. So this has a nice passive on it when you use the card. Use another card afterwards, then it spawns a bunch of power gems. Let me show you what I mean. I use this card, and then if I use another card that has a boost, you can see the whole board fills up with power gems like that. That's pretty good. That should be enough to take down the regular enemies pretty easily. Remember that the goal is to try and get through this as quickly as possible. Also, Arcane Masters can be used every turn. But for the bosses, I need to use a couple of other cards, I would have thought. There we go. And that, yeah, there we go. That's enough to take down the boss. And again, regular enemies. I might as well use both of these cards. I don't think the one card will be enough. The event ultimate form is a 2-turn cooldown card. There we go. That's more than enough to take care of the regular enemies. So this is a pretty quick method, actually. We have another wave of enemies, so let's just try the first card. There we go. See if that's enough. I don't think it will be on its own, but it's worth a try. Oh, it is. Nice. I think later on that probably won't be enough. But for the end boss, might as well just use all of the heroes. The Rosarth World Eater boss, or whatever it's called, it's quite a difficult name to say, is the boss that spawns the solo bosses. So that's the one to be aware of. If you can't defeat the solo bosses, be ready to quit out if that boss spawns. But there we go. That's the Crusade done, hopefully. 85.1 trillion on Heretic Hunters. And there we go. We're done with the Crusade, nice and quick. Of course, you have to find an event ultimate form each time if you're going to do it by that method. Alright, so here we go, some team testing. You can see the Umbral boss is already being killed quite quickly, so what I'm going to do is kill a Radiant, or a couple of Radiants. So let's scroll up to the Radiant boss. Here we go. I've been using some of my light teams to tag the multi-bosses. I'll use, I think, my main team first, then try the team with Metaverse Masters and see how the damage compares. Right, here we go. So yeah, you can see the health on the boss is really low compared to the Umbral. Bosses are being killed really quickly this event, so I would have thought the event deck itself is really powerful if used correctly. Let's see what my damage is like, though, with this team. It will one-shot the boss for sure. There we go, nothing really loose on the power gem, so this will be a minimum sort of damage hit. 15.6 Q. There we go. Right, so there's another Radiant up. Let's see how the team compares with Metaverse Masters on the team. Scroll across to the right team. Yes, that one there. Here we go. Alright. So it's around 15.6 Q. Let's see what it's like with Metaverse. Here we go. So it might be harder to get the fire gems at the start. I've still managed to get enough. Let's see. So I think that's probably the best order. It should do a little bit more damage as there's at least one loose power gem on the board. Yeah, there's two. So this should do around 20 to 25 Q. But it only did 18.9 Q. So that gives you a good idea that single affinity is the better option here. Well, by the looks of it anyway. Just going to wait until there's a new Umbral boss, then have one more go with my main team. Right, here we go. This will die pretty quickly, but let's see if I can do a bit more damage. Right, here we go. So yeah, I want to do over 18Q ideally, so let's see what sort of grid I can get on the board. Hopefully something decent, but we will see a couple of power gems loose from the main match. Then after making a match, you have to sort of move one gem to something like this, but there's no loose power gems again, so it's not going to be spectacular, unfortunately. Still a pretty consistent sort of 15Q. The thing you have to be careful of now is countdown, but Emoliating Fae removes that. The biggest issue here is if countdown and panic both go on the same hero, then Emoliating Fae removes panic and not countdown. You might find you die. So you do have to be a bit careful here, but yeah, that's something to be aware of. Right, let's have another go. The boss is going to die pretty quickly, so I don't have long to hit this. Get it killed as quickly as possible, ideally. That's not a bad board. That's the perfect match. There's two loose power gems there. So this should do good damage. Let's see. 25? 21. Right, and that's the boss defeated anyway. Well, pretty much. Not worth doing another attack, and it's lagging a bit now for some reason. There we go. Boss defeated. So yeah, it's not a bad team, but it's not spectacular. If I had the event ultimate form, I'd probably be doing around 100Q maybe. Possibly a bit less than that. I'm not sure. It's a big boost. But anyway, that's the team testing and guild boss killing done. Right, I'm going to go ahead and claim the event rewards now while I'm here. Right, so this is the collection. Potions! Yay! Yeah, not that exciting. The epic potions at the bottom, though, are okay, I guess. But potions can just be obtained from crusading. Wouldn't get too excited about this. There we go. At least I can level up a few fire cards, though, so that's something. Just claim all this quickly. And then the guild collection. Yeah, again, potions, potions, potions. A couple of wisps as well. Not overly exciting. So let's have a look at what it is this time around. Either a Warden, Dragoon or Vanguard. I am in Emperors. I didn't really play the last event. Didn't really feel any passion for it, if I'm being honest. But here is the Vanguard, an Earth Vanguard, with Defender skill Might and Dispel counterattack. Yeah, nothing too exciting there. Vanguards can be quite useful though. Earth is a sort of average defence nowadays. There's quite a few fire cards that can take down Earth defences. You all have to decide for yourselves if you want to use that or not. But there we go, that's what it is. And now let's go ahead and claim the random 6-star hero. Right, so here we go. What am I going to get this time around? Well, we will find out. Yeah, that's a very old card. That will be sold for dust, almost certainly. I'll have a look at the event ultimate form in the next part of the video, as I'm going to go through all the decks. Well, firstly, I might as well claim my free Warden, so here we go. I've not done this yet. It will probably be sold for dust, though, as the Warden on its own isn't really of that much use. Oh, there we go. Took over a minute to load there, not sure why. Here's the random Warden I'm getting. Oh, it's a fire one. Okay. But yeah, I'm not buying into the Warden packs to try and get the ultimate Warden. It's way too expensive. But there we go, that's the random Warden claimed. Now to go over to the season. And time to have a look through all the decks from this season. So my choice, I would say my favourite is probably the Earth deck. This is the one I went for. 225% increase in damage to all heroes. That's pretty good. You can use the ultra rare for an extra 225% damage as well. That's why I really like this deck. I think it's the most versatile deck in the season and would be my first choice. There we go, it's back out of here. Then my second choice, probably the Fire Commander deck. I know the Water deck has a higher buff, but this has a ton of other skills on the deck as well. For example, the Revive plus the 20 Fire Power Gem IX. That's a really big amount of power gems, very good. Plus a Revive skill that gives another 35 Power Gem IX. I think this is probably the second best deck in the season, in my opinion. A very strong deck. But there we go. Water would be my third pick. 600% increase to self-damage. Not too many other skills on the card, but 600% is pretty big. So yeah, I'm putting this as my third choice. And then for my fourth choice, but I think probably the Dark Slayer deck. This has a decent increase to Dark Slayer damage, but it's not as good as the Earth Commander deck. It's not a bad deck at all though, but the other decks seem quite a lot better, well apart from the Light Slayer deck, which I'm putting as the weakest deck in the season. The Light Slayer deck, though, isn't exactly bad. The deck increases self-damage by 400% for 2 turns, has a pretty decent healing skill, plus the bonus attack, so yeah, it's still a good deck, it's just the other decks seem better in the season. If you can get all of the decks, of course, that would be ideal, but yeah, in my opinion, the Commander decks look stronger than the Slayer decks. But there we go, that's my roundup of the season decks. You can see I can get half of a deck as well. Not sure which one to go for yet. Maybe the Dark deck, since getting half of any of the other decks won't really help me. But there we go, that's the season decks done with. Let's go ahead and have a look at the newsfeed to finish off this video. So the Ultimate Warden Gem Sale talks about the Ultimate Warden Vault as well. You saw me use my token there. The new Ultimate Warden as well as mentioned. The 2 Pink Star Ultimate Relic. For the next 24 hours only, that was for yesterday. Then the new Legend Trials boss. I found this really easy to defeat. The Putrid Cudgels are the best cudgels. Also incredibly annoying to go up against. So those should be the ones you want to make. And there we go, I think we're pretty much done with the news feed. Time to end this video and start playing the event a bit more, I guess. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing is always very much appreciated. If you do have any questions or suggestions regarding this video, please let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to help. I've included a previous video on the screen, plus a playlist. Plus you can also subscribe from here if you want to do so. And thanks for watching.